Well, hey guys, Phil/Polygon here. Welcome to little unofficial video, little random thoughts video, no episode numbers. Don't really have any specific topics in mind, so I thought I would kind of freeform this thing, do a little Fireside Souls chat, some updates and things like that. Because it's been a long damn time since I have posted anything. In fact, the last time I posted anything, Bloodborne had not launched yet. So in that 10 weeks or so, we've had Bloodborne come out, we've had Scholar of the First Sin come out. There's been some activity in the community around those two things. I'm not actually playing either one of those games, so I might talk a little bit about that and maybe spit out some theories and thoughts and observations from the outside. Just talk about what's been going on. As you can see, I've got some Demon Souls fired up in the background. That is my my clips du jour for this particular video. It's kind of weird. While everybody's moving forward with Bloodborne and Scholar, I'm actually traveling back in time to 2009. Getting acquainted with my old pal Des. And I will say, it has been a blast. Man, I had forgotten how much I adore this game. It was like returning to the embrace of a long-lost lover. It is like physically playing a hug. I don't know if you can play a hug, but if you could, it would feel like my return to Demon Souls. It's been about, probably about a year since I fired up my PS3, about a year and a half since I've actually touched Demon Souls. And I think the last time I did was on the good old Visionary, on his 500 subscriber extravaganza. He was hosting some Demon Souls fight clubs, and so a bunch of people got together and just went out and relived some PvP throwback with Demon Souls, had a blast. But that was the last time I touched it, and it has been a rip-roaring time. So the footage going on is me trying to get some of my muscle memory back, trying to regain some of the chops I had once upon a time with Demon Souls. Not particularly good chops, but the rust is just unbelievable. So you will see me failing pivot cast after pivot cast after pivot cast, terrible parry timings, terrible roll timings, weird spacing issues, because I mean you just lose that stuff. Being out of anything is, you lose it. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm going with the video. It'll probably be pretty long and rambly because I do not have bullet points, I don't have minutes or notes or an agenda or anything like that. So I have a feeling this is going to turn into like a round table style video without the table. So apologies if this ends up being half an hour long. But yeah, let's jump into it. I'll play my intro and we'll get started, shall we? Catch you in a few. Alright, we'll jump right into it. And I am going to start off talking a little bit about Demon Souls. It might sound like I'm just gushing, it might sound like I'm just waxing nostalgic and, you know, throwing out unsolicited praise about this old game, but I promise I am going somewhere with this. But to start off, let's go ahead and gush, because, oh my god, I love this game. I had forgotten how much I love this game. And coming back to it, returning to it, after about a year and a half away, like I said, it was just an avalanche of warm fuzzies. Like, all the excitement that I had. This is my first game in the series. This was the first Souls game I ever played. It was the first game of the series, actually. Even though it had spiritual predecessors in the King's Field series. Yes, thanks for the tip. This is the first game in the series that I ever played. And it was just this magical time of wonder and awe and discovery and tension and horror and excitement. And that all came rip-roaring back when I returned to it. I'm actually trying to put together a spellage. It's a spell killage, use it, or killage. I don't know if it's killage or killage. I'm going to say killage. You can correct me in the comments, that's fine. So sweet. That weapon is so sweet. Oh my god, I miss it in all of the games after. But coming back to this game, just that feeling, that childlike sense of wonder and awe, and that excitement of having never played anything like this before in my life, just came roaring back, and I'm having a great time. I'm actually trying to do this pure. I'm not doing any stockpile Thomas glitches, and like I said, just trying to work to get back some of the chops that I have lost over the months and months and months and months of hiatus in playing this game. And I think that kind of, so that feeling, like when I was playing this game, oh, side note, tangent, when I was playing this game, I was thinking too that like I think this might be like my desert island game, like that farcical situation, you know, where you're on a ship, right? And for whatever reason, you have all of your consoles with you and all of your games with you, and then all of a sudden, oh no, the ship starts to sink. And you're thinking, shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then as a beacon of light out on the horizon, you spy this desert island. And to continue the farcical analogy, let's assume the desert island has power and electricity and all that kind of good stuff. And as the ship sinks, it's sinking at such a pace where you can only save one console and one game, and further suspending disbelief that the console and game can survive the swim to this desert island, I think I would grab my PS3 and Demon's Souls, swim over to that island, and live out the rest of my days, or until I was rescued, as a happy castaway. I would just harvest coconuts and fish, I guess, and play Demon's Souls. I think I could play this game forever. And I don't know if that might be an exaggeration. I don't know if that's entirely true, because I'm feeling self-conscious about that now, because I might grab my SNES and Final Fantasy VI, or my SNES and Final Fantasy IV, or I don't know. I love the shit out of Dragon Age. I don't know. I would actually probably drown on the boat trying to decide what to save instead of actually saving something. I might never actually make it to the island. But if I did happen to make it to this island that was magically powered with electrical outlets, with Demon's Souls, I'd be just fine. Just fine. And that feeling, like that feeling of excitement and wonder and discovery, really got me thinking about some of the stuff that I was observing around the launch of Bloodborne. So I'll talk to that in just a second. But yeah, I don't want to jump right into Bloodborne, because I think I have the most to potentially say about that. And we'll get some other stuff out of the way first. So if you haven't noticed, I've been away for a long time, and in that many months, I have not been playing anything Souls related. I have not been playing Bloodborne. I talked about it in great rambly length on the last roundtable, the most recent roundtable, the one with Pokeshine and Lady Canton and the Visionary, where we were just kind of thinking out loud about expectations of Bloodborne, who's going to be playing it, who's going to be not, maybe why, and stuff like that. So I won't rehash it, but that's out there if you wanted to check it out. And I have not broken down. I did not go buy a PS4. I do not own Bloodborne and have not played a single minute of it. I've probably spoiled it for myself when I actually do play this game, because I've watched a ton of Let's Plays. I've watched some of the PvP stuff that's come out. Especially from some of my favorite uploaders and some random shit. I've just popped into a couple chats from time to time on stream, done a little bit of lurking. So I've probably ruined it for myself, but I'm not sweating that too much. And I'll probably talk about why I'm not sweating that too much a little bit down the way as well. But, you know, I haven't been playing. I did actually try and return to Dark Souls. I had a wild hair up my ass to try and finish, at long last, the Purist's Guide. So I sat down. Had to replay the beginning of my character, because I think I talked about this on a prior video. I lost all of my save files actually when I did my Steam transition to the I play on the PC. The Steam transition to use the Steam service for matchmaking, get off of Windows Live. You had the option to transfer all your old files, and I said, nah, I'm not gonna bother, because I like making characters and it's fine. So I didn't transfer anything, and I had to make new characters anyway. Sat down, started rebuilding this character, captured some footage, and was all rip-roaring to go to rebuild the Purist's Guide. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to play this game. I'm not ready to return to Dark Souls. I don't know if it's been too recent, or if it's just maybe a burnout thing, but I captured some footage, started putting some commentary to it, and it sounded so bitter and so despondent, and it was like, all right, here we are in the catacombs. Catacombs are cool, I guess. That was Pinwheel. Pinwheel's a joke. Let's go into the Tomb of Giants, because I want to light this bonfire so that when I do get the Lord Vessel, I can just warp directly here. I don't have to run all the way. Oh, I fell off a ledge because I don't remember what. It's terrible. Who the fuck wants to listen to that stuff? I had no enthusiasm, no motivation to actually play the game. That was kind of a weird phenomenon. So I felt like my mind was not right. So I do apologize, and that thing continues to languish. I actually had a similar experience. Let's jump to Scholar. I had a similar experience too, because, you know, Scholar, The First Sin, came out while I was away. I don't know how it's doing. I haven't checked sales numbers or anything like that. I picked it up on Steam just kind of on a larf a couple days after it was released. I got the discount on it because I bought the previous version and had the season pass for all the DLC and stuff like that. And out of the gate, I was actually kind of rip-roaring to go. I really liked a lot of the new enemy placements. I thought it was kind of cool and put a new, fresh spin on the game because you couldn't go through it just on autopilot the way that you can after building character after character after character in the original game, the vanilla version. So out of the gate, I was really cool, and I was kind of playing it like a noob for the first time. You had to be a little bit careful. You had to be a little bit, you know, there was some fear, there was some trepidation in moving forward because you didn't know where new enemies were, and there were new enemies that were placed in the area that weren't there before that were kind of outclassing you, and it was sort of like, all right, we got to proceed a little bit more carefully. I thought they did a nice job kind of mixing up some of the weapon placements and item placements and stuff like that because it kind of encouraged you to seek out some of the sparklies that you might have otherwise left behind. You know, it further disrupted that autopilot thing. There were new placements and stuff like that to learn, which I thought was kind of exciting for about half the game. I killed 2 of the primal bonfire bosses. I killed the Lost Sinner, and then I killed the Old Iron King, and then just totally bottomed out. Like, I lost complete interest in this game because it felt like it got so grindy. And I know a lot of people had this criticism of Dark Souls 2 when it initially came out, that it was kind of an unsatisfying difficulty. It was not that same caliber of challenge and reward that the Souls franchise is known for. Like, there was just a lot of mobs that were kind of placed in such a way that made it hard for the sake of being hard. The 60 FPS, I'm playing on the PC, so I actually had the 60 frames per second in the initial version, so that wasn't as big as an upgrade, but the bugs still exist with the durability at 60 frames per second, so it's like you're fighting more enemies, tougher enemies, and your weapons are degrading twice as fast, and it just seemed like such a drag as I got deeper and deeper into this game, and it kind of bugged me that a lot of the enemies that were being placed just didn't make a lot of fucking sense. Like, why is there a dragon in Hades Tower of Flame? Why are there random ass Sion Knights in the Forest of Fallen Giants? I guess that has a connection to Vendrick. Maybe they're there from the old battle. I don't know, lore-wise. It seemed like they were really just doing a bizarre collage, like this mixing and matching of enemy placements that kind of bugged me after a while. And it seemed like they were throwing a lot more at you at the same time, which just, you know, throwing back to what I was saying about that reward thing, like it did not feel like a fulfilling difficulty. It just felt like it was hard for the sake of being hard. So it was just a grind, and I lost interest pretty quickly in the thing. I have not finished it. I will say, not to further harp on the thing, because I will return to it. I'll play it again someday, but I'm just not now, because I really didn't like a lot of the graphical updates that they made. Like the DirectX 11 power on the PC versus the DirectX 9 power. And I'm sure it was a huge upgrade on the next-gen consoles as well, especially for the 60 frames per second. I'm sure that was a pretty slick upgrade. But for whatever reason, like the lighting kind of bugged me. The, you know, air quote, you can't see me making air quotes. The air quote improvements kind of bugged me because everything was just hyper exaggerated. And a couple areas, like the Tower of Flame really springs to mind, where it seemed like the aesthetic almost had like this cell shaded thing going on. And it felt kind of cartoony, and it really, I don't know, it dropped me out of my immersion. I didn't like it aesthetically. And so I just had a really difficult time sticking with it. So I haven't been playing Scholar either. Sorry, I had to take a quick sip of coffee. I'm sitting here recording this in like the wee early morning. So if my voice sounds like I have a cold, that's why. It's my sleepy voice. But yeah, so I don't know. I haven't had a lot of motivation to play these things, and I've taken a little bit of a hiatus to get some distance, get a little bit of perspective, and as such, I've been just kind of thinking about the series as a whole, the Souls franchise as a whole. And I have, okay, so we'll jump into Bloodborne. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but like I said, freeform, stream of conscious style chat, but we'll get into Bloodborne, and let me talk about the release of Bloodborne. So for the umpteenth time, I do not own this game, I'm not playing this game, and at launch, it was absolute fucking agony. I was up at midnight when everybody first got the game and it unlocked and you could play it. I was lurking in some streams. I was watching all the videos as they came out. For the first 2 days, it was grim death. I had to work so damn hard to keep my resolve in check and not just shatter and go out and buy a PS4 and buy the game and rush home and play it because it looks so cool. It looks so cool from the PvE side of things. I love the aesthetic. I know a lot of people are hit and miss on like the Victorian era gun mechanic and stuff like that, which from what I understand is falling pretty short of the desired intent. But I know guns are giving people a lot of grief right now, but I just love the way the thing looks. I love like the little bit of mix up in the mechanics, the no shields, the faster pace. It looks so fantastic, especially having recently gone back and played Demon Souls. It reminds me of Demon Souls so much in the way the levels are crafted and constructed and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, it was agony. I felt, you know what? I felt like some sort of like Dickensian orphan just left out in the cold. I was sitting there with like my face pressed up against the glass of a candy shop while all the fortunate children were laughing and playing and enjoying their treats on the inside, and I'm just stuck out in the street with my little raggedy fingerless gloves and my Newsies cap as the snow falls on me, and it's just, oh, woe is me, can I have some more, sir, please? I opted out. That's not a fair analogy because I opted out of it. But man, I just felt like I was so left out and it was so bad. But then after about 3 days, it just kind of went away. I just kind of stopped pining, and I'm still paying attention. I'm still watching videos. I'm still seeing stuff as it comes out. Still trying to keep my finger on the pulse of discovery and things like that. But I don't have this burning desire to rush out and play the thing. I feel like I've kind of moved on a little bit. And that felt like, just we'll get all big sociological and soft here for a second, soft science. Like as a feeling, it almost felt like the situation where you're in high school and you have like this really tight group of friends and you're into the same things and great memories and all that kind of thing, and then the day comes when everybody graduates and everybody goes off to college and goes to different colleges or goes off to join the military or start a trade or whatever the fuck people do after high school, and you say your goodbyes and everybody goes on and does their own thing. Or same thing after college. You got your group of college friends and everybody goes off to find a job or have some soul-searching trip when they backpack across Europe and find themselves, or whatever fucking cliche people do after high school or college. Like, it's just, it felt like that situation where you had your time and everybody's going off to do their own thing, and that's just kind of the way it is. And I'm still there, I'm still paying attention, I'm still lurking in chats and watching videos, like I said, but I don't feel like I'm part of it anymore. And I think that kind of further accentuates the hiatus. And I will say, like, so I guess I'll talk about this. Like, I think I'm gonna keep it up for a little bit. I think I'm gonna stay out of it for a little bit. I'm probably just gonna put out like some random drip videos and things like that, primarily because, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit out of it. My head is not right to jump into Bloodborne right now. And since I'm not playing Bloodborne, I'm not playing Scholar, like I mentioned. I'm not up on the current goings down in the Souls community. And so I don't really feel like I have anything to say. And this being primarily a commentary channel and a Souls channel, not having anything to say about the current state of Souls kind of just leaves me floating. So I'm super disappointed in that, and it's weird. I'm still trying to sort out what I'm gonna do and all that kind of thing. Not to mention, it's been just raining crazy shit in my personal life. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to make it that kind of video, but I got all kinds of crap that's consuming me in the desert of the real. And then I do have one little passion project that I picked up over the last couple of months that I am just pretty much investing every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears into, that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but I probably will on this channel because I think some of you guys might be interested in it. I would love some extra eyes on it. I might need some help perhaps testing it out. There's a little de facto announcement. I'm gonna give the most obvious hints possible without actually making an announcement, but I don't want to talk about that too much yet. But yeah, so I am occupied with other things. I'm doing plenty of other things, and I feel like I'm just kind of out of it with Souls. So I am as much as it sucks for me, because I love interacting with you guys. I love, you know, having conversations in the comments and throwing ideas back and forth. That is by far and away my favorite part of the channel. And you guys are fucking awesome and unbelievable. I've said that a million times. It is definitely the creme de la creme, the coolest people in the Souls community. At least a handful of them are paying attention to this channel, and so thank you for that. But man, I got nothing. I just got nothing right now. I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I'm gonna keep up the hiatus for a little bit and just do random update videos and things like that. But no Bloodborne content to come. Probably no Scholar of this First Sin content to come either, for a good long while. I don't know, maybe I'll do some Demon Souls nostalgia videos or something like that, since I'm playing it when I do sit down to play. But yeah, I don't know, man. That sucks, and I do apologize for being away, and I apologize for the foreseeable awayness that is yet to come. But I don't know. I got nothing, man. I got nothing. So I'm gonna lay low for a little bit and continue to be hot and cold. But in taking a little bit of a hiatus, getting a little bit of distance and perspective, and throwing all the way back to those warm fuzzies I was experiencing and going back to Demon Souls, I had a theory that I kind of wanted to spit out with you guys that might be a little bit bleak regarding us as a community, and sort of our maturity and our experience as a community in moving forward with Souls games, that has me a little bit despondent. Namely, are we too grizzled? Are we too veteran to ever get back to like the Dark Souls magic? The Dark Souls 1 magic. And I've been thinking about this because for me that magic happened in Demon Souls, and I know for a handful of people it happened in Demon Souls as well. It's the first game in the series, never played anything like it, but Demon Souls was an exclusive, right? And it didn't have nearly the community behind it that Dark Souls 1 had. Dark Souls 1 was like this huge funnel. It was cross-platform. It eventually came to the PC, and so it brought in a shit ton of fresh new faces. And I feel like kind of as a concept, it was this fresh, untapped mine of discovery and wonder and awe and all those feelings I was talking about during Demon Souls when I was gushing over Demon Souls. And I felt like the community was at its most vibrant during Dark Souls, because everybody was fairly new. It was still a new thing. The Souls game was still kind of a new thing. And so it was just video after video after video of discovery and content and funny stuff and creativity and building on knowledge that came before. I feel like, you know, the Souls franchise, mechanically from game to game to game, the core is the same. The heart is the same. One might be a little bit slower and heavier, one might be a little bit faster and more fluid, one might be a little floaty, one might be a little whatever criticism you have amongst all of them. But like at their heart, I feel like they're the same. So I think mechanically, the Souls games play a lot like chess. Not in that it's a gridded board game of strategy and blah fucking blah, but I mean in that discovery and knowledge and community sharing happens in like a progressive sense. Everything that comes out is kind of building on knowledge that was accumulated before. And I think in the same way of chess, like chess works that way in terms of strategies and things like that. Like a grandmaster from today could play a grandmaster from 100 years ago and obliterate them, because a lot has been discovered since then and now. But it seems like in Souls, it's at a much more decelerated pace. Like, I know a lot of people got pretty frustrated and burned out fairly early on in Dark Souls 2 because it didn't feel like there was enough different. It didn't feel like there was whole new worlds of knowledge to mine. It didn't seem like there was as much discovery coming out because a lot of people were very, very veteran going into Dark Souls 2. And I wonder, is that kind of what's going on in Bloodborne right now? Because I, for one, as a watcher, as a spectator and a fan, I'm kind of surprised there aren't more videos out there doing tutorials and showcases and highlighting some of this fantastic discovery that we had in Dark Souls and lesser extent in Dark Souls 2, and to a lesser extent what seems like in Bloodborne. And I feel like by now in Dark Souls 2, there was a lot more figured out or a lot more shared than there has been in Bloodborne. And I know, like, I'm speaking specifically mostly to PvP, and I know that Bloodborne has some huge obstacles to PvP with the bell system and the connection system and stuff like that. But it seems like it's a much bigger impediment than Soul Memory ever was. But I wonder, like, do we as a community? Is this because we as a community just know too much? Are we have we figured it all out? And you can make little tweaks like introducing dual wielding. You can introduce little tweaks like the guns. And guns don't look terribly appealing from the outside at all, I gotta tell you. But you can introduce new things like that, or the new shield, or the faster pace, or things like that. But at its core, it's still kind of the same game. It all plays the game like Assassin's Creed. There's only so much you can do with Assassin's Creed, even though there's been, I don't know, 5 of them, whatever it is. You're still free running around and doing cutscene assassinations or lock screen assassination animations and things like that. There's only so much you can do with it. And I wonder, do we just know too much? Have we, like, during that renaissance of Dark Souls 1, did we figure out so much that now when we get into a new one of these games, we know what to look for. We know what to see that we can exploit and use for PvP and things like that. And like, dude, are we grizzled? Are we grizzled and maybe a little bit jaded going into it? It kind of feels that way from the pace of videos coming out, the kinds of videos coming out. This is from an observer on the outside. But I almost feel like if I was to pick up Bloodborne tomorrow, I'd know exactly what to do. I'd know exactly what to look for. I'd know exactly how to play it. I'd know exactly what kind of exploits and cheats to look for within the controls and the engines. And I don't know. Do we know too much? That's been a little bit of my hesitation in picking it up. Because I don't get a sense of enthusiasm around all this new crazy crap that is so cool and must be sussed out. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on Scholar of the First Sin too. Was your reaction the same as mine? And let me know your reaction to Bloodborne, and maybe on the theory of, like, we're just too experienced. They'd have to reinvent the entire fucking thing from the ground up to get back to that swell of activity and enthusiasm that was Dark Souls 1. And I think I'm going to cap on that, because after talking about the hiatus and after talking about enthusiasm, I'm suddenly all morose and shit. So I'm going to bow out. I'm just going to drop that bomb and bow out. And thanks again to everybody who is still paying attention to this channel. I know I've been a horrible slouch when it comes to comments and getting back to people. I'm still trying to keep up. I'm still here. Hit me up. It's going to be a pretty sporadic little drip of content coming out for a while, but I'll keep everybody posted on what's going on. Let me know your thoughts and feedback and things like that. Let me know what you guys are thinking. You guys that might be in the same boat, where's your headspace at? And I'm gonna start my day on a Debbie Downer. I'm gonna go be sad and drink some more coffee and try and perk up. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. I will catch you around. I'll catch you in the when I'm lurking in chats and streams and stuff like that. I'll catch you on the tubes. And see you on the next video, whatever that might be. I might, you know, get a whiff of inspiration immediately after concluding this and saying like, oh yeah, I gotta go do that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm still around. I'll be around from time to time, and I'm definitely still watching, so keep it up. The guys that are out there doing it. It's good stuff. And I will catch you next time. Sorry. Okay. Bye.